Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, no school for the kids today, and so they just left to go to the park with the neighbor kids, and I'm gonna try and get this done before they get back and interrupt my video. Happy President's Day, everybody in the States. So yes, no school today for the kids. And if I don't get this video done today, then who knows when I'll get it done. So I put it top on my to-do list, above all else today. First things first, since I last spoke to you in December, which was probably about middle of December, and I think I was just putting away my Glory of Autumn, and I was going to put that away till next fall. And I was getting ready, and I don't remember, I think I was pulled out the Santa's Feathered Friend, and also I said I wasn't going to get my Flowers of the Month done by the end of the year, which kind of bummed me out, but Christmas is just busy and I didn't do it. So let's start with pretty much right where that other video ended off, and this was what I worked on. This Santa's Feathered Santa's Feathered Friend, singular. He only has one friend there, that little bird. And I pulled him out, and I'm sorry I don't have a picture of where I was when I started, but I got a lot done on him, but I did not finish. So here's Santa's Feathered Friend. All I have left is just the rest of his red suit, which is pretty much mostly the red on there. So I pretty much did all of this, I believe, in December. So I worked on this pretty much from when my last video ended in mid-December. I worked on this until New Year's Eve. So that was that. New Year's Eve, I was working on this up until midnight, because that's when the Mirabilia SAL starts. So I was excited to get some stitches in on that at midnight on New Year's Eve. So let's just go to that one, which I have it buried at the very bottom. I don't know why. No. Did I just show you? I was telling you about my Flower of the Month, but oh, because I didn't finish it. That's why. I was like, well, that's here. Let's just go to that. That's finished. So pause that with the Mirabilia SAL. Pretty much the first couple of weeks of January, I don't remember exactly when, I did finally finish. If you can call finishing, if you can call it a finish, because I didn't actually stitch the words yet, but I'm calling it a finish because the cross stitching is done. So I did finish my Flower of the Month, and I'm going to have to stand up because this one's, excuse me a minute. So just so you can kind of see the size of it here in relation to me, there it is, all finished up. So I think what I had to do is I still had some of this flower here and then the poinsettia in December, for December. And like I've said in my videos in the past, but if this is the first time you're seeing me, I have left space underneath the flowers because I'm going to stitch the flower names. But now I'm waffling back and forth thinking I might do the month names. And I know, after all that I went through about what to call these, jonquils or daffodils or whatever, you know, now I may just stitch March and just keep it at that. So I'll show you a little bit close up again, because I know a lot of you have worked on this and or are thinking of working on it, or have worked on part of it. So here's just a little close up. Don't look too close at that last one because it has a ton of mistakes in it. I got off, you know how when you're doing over 2 on even weave and you don't get off a whole stitch, you just get off a half a stitch. I was off a half a stitch. Okay, sorry about that. Husband called. Where was I? Oh yeah, talking about my December being just riddled with mistakes. And so yeah, you won't be seeing a close-up of that one because I don't know, was done with this, and I just didn't have the heart to frog and do this over again. And Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love stitching on this, but there were other things pressing that I wanted to stitch on, so I just winged it. So if you look really close, you'll see that there's stitches that are just like one stitch over, but two stitches up, you know, like kind of like rectangular fill-in stitches. And I just sort of thought, okay, I think this color would look good there, and that color red would look good there, and yeah. I know for a fact there isn't anybody in my real life that will ever look at my stitching to ever know that that's all wonky like that. There's the only people that would be you guys, and I'm not going to take a zoomed close-up picture of it. but I shared it with you so you know it's there, and I don't think anybody cares, and I don't really care. I've decided that in my life there's only room for one perfectionist, and that would be my husband. So my poor kids, they had two parents that were perfectionists. It isn't going to happen. I have vowed to be the non-perfectionist in the family. Not like I have a choice in the matter. I'm just not a perfectionist. Now, that's not to say I'm not OCD about some things, because there are some things that bug me about my stitching that I can't live with. But there are some things that I'm willing to just say, let it go. Just let it go. Okay, moving on. So, yes, we're into, okay, go backwards just a little bit to New Year's Eve, when the Mirabilia SAL started on Cross Stitch and Discuss. And, you know, I'm confused about this. Okay, pardon my, the picture got wet. I'm so bummed the picture of Gigi got wet. And so now she's all messed up there, so you can't really see. Something stuck to her. Life. Anyway, I'm confused, guys. I was calling this a Mirabilia, and I was noticing when everybody holds up their Mirabilia, it says Mirabilia on the top, and mine says Nora Corbett Designs. So I know that Nora Corbett is the designer, and down here it says Mirabilia Designs, but I just don't know why sometimes they say Mirabilia on the top, sometimes they say Nora Corbett on the top, and I have a feeling it has something to do with the size of the project. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the ones that are actually Mirabilias are huge. I mean, I've seen people hold them up. They're big, and I think a lot of beading, whereas, you know, she's small. She's manageable. She's good for my first one. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I was like, oh, I'm my first Mirabilia, and then I thought, wait a minute, it says Nora Corbett there, but I think technically it still is a Mirabilia. I don't know. I'm confused about that. I'm new to the whole Mirabilia thing. If you've seen any of my videos in the past, you'll know. I'm new to those. So let's just get to how she looks. I started her on New Year's Eve, just a little after midnight, and I haven't stitched a ton on her, a ton of time, but she moves really fastly, as you can see. This is the first time that I've ever stitched, besides that Santa I'm doing, it's the first time I've ever stitched skin. So I know I'm not going to do 1/1 on my first time I ever do something like this, because I've heard the moans and groans about that, but that it's worth it in the end, and maybe someday I'll do it. But right now I'm just happy with just doing it. And just 2/2. So yes, this is chocolate, 32 count chocolate linen. You can see there. She stitches up really fast. I'm really excited to get to the beads pretty soon, but there's a lot still of her dress and up here to stitch, and the cat and everything. So here you go. Yep, really easy to stitch. This is kind of my nighttime project. I keep this one, I don't work on it that much because I just work on it at night. It's by my bed, so if we're watching a movie upstairs, watching a show in bed, then I'll stitch on this. Other than that, that's pretty much the only time I work on it. And I was debating whether to mention it, but I guess I will, because hey, confession time. There is a stitch in her face where the top leg of the stitch is going the wrong way. Yeah, I was appalled too, because I've been stitching for a long time. I've been stitching since, well, pretty much nonstop since 2010, and I never do my stitches the wrong way. I mean, it's just kind of like, you just know, you're in a routine and you know to do the stitches the right way, and you know, I just have a method that I do. So doing a stitch the wrong way immediately, it's almost like writing a letter with your left hand when you're right-handed. I mean, it just feels wrong right away. But what ended up happening is I think I was going a different route than I usually go, heading up this way, because I always stitch top to bottom, but I was going this way. And if you notice if you're stitching, because I always start on the bottom left and go up to the top right, and then the bottom right up to the top left. So, but I think what I was doing is, because when I'm working up to the bottom, what ends up happening is when I come from behind with the stitch and I come up a stitch that already has a stitch, you know, like that stitch in it, it kind of pulls that out a little bit. So I prefer to come from the top. So my stitches are going the same way, but I stitch them kind of in a different order. So I start from the top right and go down to the top left, because there's already thread coming out of that hole, if that makes any sense. So it kind of pushes it down in there instead of pulling it back up. So I was kind of going a different way than I usually do by starting at the top right, going to the top left, and I think I just got messed up with my routine because I was going from bottom to top, and then I was doing my stitches backwards from what I normally do. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it though, guys, because it's kind of embedded in a long string of stitches going up, and you know, I have to actually kind of look at it to find it, but then it's there. It's there. There is one stitch that has the top leg going the wrong way. I'm leaving it. Okay, enough of that. I'm out. Oh, my video's getting longer. Okay, moving on. I'm just going to show you this one next, because I've just been randomly kind of working on this one. This is one that I think I had told you I started it a year ago, like the New Year's Day of 2015. So toward the end of the year, I thought I'm going to get this out. I think I showed it in my last video. I had done the Christmas part, and then I went back and I worked on the January and the December part of that. So anyway, I thought at the beginning of February I would pull that out and work on just the hearts. But I ended up doing a little bit more than just the hearts, because it's just one of those designs that you just, when you start it, you're like, oh, I gotta just do that next motif and the next one. And so I think I just had the snowman done when I last showed you, and then all the way at the other end here, this. So that's really a fun, cute design. I think I made a couple changes, or maybe just one. Oh yeah, I left the cloud out. I don't know if I'm gonna stitch the cloud. The cloud is white, and it's really hard stitching white. You can see the bunny. The white just doesn't show up very much, even though it's back stitched, but I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm gonna put the cloud in there or not. And I gave the bunny a pink nose because it had a black nose. White bunnies don't have black noses, they have pink noses. So that's the only change I made. Okay, and then that's it. And I'm just going to periodically work on that throughout the year and finish it when it gets finished. Okay, moving on. So I think I just have 2 more things to show. So I don't know really what I said my plans were for the new year. I knew that I wasn't going to do, I love doing the flower of the month, but I kind of thought, you know, I'm going to take a break from the monthly things. In 2016, I'm not going to do any monthly things. Well, guess what I'm doing? I'm not only doing one, I'm doing 2 monthly designs, monthly stitch-alongs. One is just one I'm doing with me and one other person. I'll get to that one first. Actually, no, I'll get to this one first. This is one that I was enabled, somebody brought it to my attention early on in January, and I won't mention any names, even though her name begins with an I and ends in a Y. And yeah, she pointed it in my direction, and I was like, I can't resist that, I have to do it. So it's the Joyful World SAL, Joyful World SAL by the Snowflower Diaries, and I know quite a few of you are doing it, so this isn't anything you haven't seen before, but I did do 2 of them. I did January. Cute. He's so cute, the little fox. I thought with one that starts that cute, it's just going to get cuter as the year goes on. And this is February. The little mallard ducks, which are just adorable. Cute. And March has been released, but I haven't started it yet. I have all my threads pulled, and I'll probably be doing that maybe a little bit later this afternoon. So I am doing that monthly, and they're just about the right size. You can kind of get them in a month and do them pretty easily. I think what I'm going to do when they're done, I didn't have one piece of fabric that was big enough for all of them, so my plan is, I'm thinking when I'm done, is to do a oh, just kind of finish them up and then do a long strip. Somehow stitch them into some wall hanging or something where they're one on top of each other, because I don't have anything that size, wedding wall hangings that size. So that's my plan. And then what happened is in December, yeah, toward the end of December, I was graciously gifted an amazing gift by another Flosstuber here that I'm still just in awe that somebody would be so kind. Not only did, oh, she would like to remain anonymous, and that's why I'm not saying her name, but not only did she send me all these patterns, but she sent me the magnet board that goes with them and all kinds of goodies in a bag that have since been dispersed upon my house because my kids kind of raided the package, and just, oh, a bunch of little fun things and trinkets and some beads and, you know, this cool LED snowflake and just some wonderful stuff. And you know who you are, and I thank you so much. And you know how much I love these. So she gave me the whole Flower of the Month series from Stony Creek, every single one of the patterns. And I am just in awe that somebody would be so generous as to give me these. And I absolutely love them. They've been on my wish list forever, and I just have been wanting to stitch them for a long time, but it's one of those, like, well, you know, one of these days I'll get them. So, change of plans, I decided to do this. Now, there's a Flosstuber named Shauna, Painting with Thread. Hi, Shauna. And she also has this series of birds I noticed in her video. So her and I are tentatively doing a very casual stitch along with each other. And I don't think she started hers yet. She's sort of just getting to them when she gets to them. She's got her hands full with a lot of other stitching projects. And so whenever, Shauna, whenever you want to do it, I'll be working on them. And you know, her and I would like to invite anybody that would like to stitch these. If you haven't had these in your stash, or you know, want to get them and stitch along with us, it's just very casual. We're just nothing. We don't have a Facebook group or anything like that. We're just kind of like, hey, if you want to stitch them with us, we're stitching them too. So anyway, they stitch up pretty quick. There's some little, you know, this. It stitches up quicker than it looks. You know, there's a little bit of back stitching, but you know, they're doable. And I decided, so at the time, when I had those, I thought, you know what? The Crazy 7 SAL on Cross Stitch and Discuss started January 1st and went 1st through the 7th. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to take the first 6 of these. So I used the Mirabilia as my first start on January 1st, and then the next 6, I decided to start with the first 6 months. I'm having a hard time talking. The first 6 months. So each day I started the first 6 of the 12 of these, and I'm hoping to get those done, because then I think there's going to be another Crazy 7 SAL, I believe sometime in July or August. I don't remember when it is. By then I'll be ready. My hope, crossing fingers, that I'll be ready to start the second 6 and have these done by the end of the year. But I don't know, plans change, and I'm not so dead set on that I'm going to stick to it. If I don't get these all done this year, I don't get them done, and I'm not going to stress about it. So this is the first one, January. Little black-capped chickadee, very cute. With a little berry in her mouth. And I have finished February, which is a blue jay. So cute. This one was a little bit time consuming. There was a lot of different colors of brown in those leaves and quite a few colors of blue. And the back stitching was a bit tedious too, because there was a lot of black back stitching around the black, which was very close to the dark blue. So I had to get out my magnifier and figure out what I was doing. And in the long run, I'm not really sure it even really shows, but you know, it might make the eye appear to make it a little smoother looking. So, and I have started with March, which is going to be a little nuthatch here. And I've already made a mistake. Realized that I'm missing pretty much one whole row of stitches. So she's a little bit narrower than she's supposed to be. I'm not sure how that's going to affect the branches coming out of there, but you know, I don't think it's going to matter. Can I ever do a design without making a mistake? Every one of my designs has a mistake in it. I've never done one perfectly. Oh, and I didn't bring down all of the other starts, but in case you want to see them, so that was those 3 starts, and then in April, I don't have it with me, but for the Crazy 7 SAL, I did stitch the word April, and May for that one, and I believe June was the last of my starts. So starting in midsummer, then I'm hoping to get the rest of them started. So that's the plan. I think that's it. That's all I've been up to. I have not purchased anything for Christmas. I got all of the beads and thread and fabric to stitch the Nora Corbett design. So as far as haul, other than the gift that I was given, as far as haul, I haven't bought anything. Gotten a couple magazines in the mail. Nothing really to show in the way of hauls. Everything for the Joyful World SAL, I'm just stitching that I'm just using DMCs for that, and I just found fabric in my stash, so I didn't even buy anything for that. So yeah, that's all I think I have to tell you, to update. And yeah, that's it, I think. Anyway, I hope everybody's getting some time to get some stitching in your life, and I'm starting to feel a little bit of spring starting to roll in here in the States, so I'm getting excited about that. February, you kind of start to feel it in the air, you know, you get the itch to get your hands in the dirt if you do any gardening. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So until next time, I hope that you all have a wonderful stitchy day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. I'm back. I just wanted to tell you something really quick that I thought this is kind of fun. I've been going to the Goodwill because everybody finds these great things at the Goodwill. Now we have a Goodwill, and yeah, we have a Goodwill by my house that I don't go to. My son's orthodontist is right next to the Goodwill, so about every 5 weeks when he gets his braces tightened and adjusted, we pop over to Starbucks and then we go into the Goodwill. I have yet to find any cross-stitching stuff. And even at the one, I have 2 by my house that I've checked, and I don't know where you guys find all that great stuff at the Goodwill, or I know you call them something different in the UK, charity shops. I have not been able to, but I just am excited to show that I found this it's got a little pocket, little hoodie fleece, nice and thick, for $5.99, $5.99 at the Goodwill. And I just wanted to share that because I know there's a lot of Disney fans out there, and I snatched that up. I'm like, that's perfect. You know, I mean, you pay like $50 at the Disney store for something like this, you know, maybe even more, because it's really high quality, really thick. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because I think that was a fun find, even though it wasn't cross-stitching related at all. Okay, that's it. I'm back again. How unsportsmanlike of me not to be excited that our team won the Super Bowl. Woohoo! Denver Broncos. Yes, it was very exciting here in Denver because if any of you follow football, you'll realize the last time we were in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks a couple years back, it was a disgrace. It was a disaster. So we redeemed ourselves. We got to the Super Bowl again, and I don't think there probably wasn't anybody in Denver that really thought we were going to actually win this game against the Panthers because we were the underdogs. All the odds in Vegas had us pinned for losing, and anyway, we won, and it's so exciting to be in Denver, in Colorado, and to have your team win the Super Bowl because we've got some great fans here, and they had, to welcome our team back the Tuesday after the game, we had a parade downtown, which I didn't go to because I had a feeling, I mean, it was big. I don't know if a lot of states, I'm sure a lot of states, the fans are crazy, but yeah. They were saying on the news that over 1 million people showed up in downtown Denver, and it ended up being beautiful weather that day. I mean, there was like a sea of orange, and it was really great. And it was pretty amazing because I think there was like 1 arrest, and that was it. I mean, you get 1 million people in downtown Denver rallying for their team, and only one person got arrested. That's it. There were no fights, no riots, no nothing. It was crazy. So yeah, I just watched it on TV, and it looked like fun. So I'm just really excited. In my little corner of the world, we are very proud of our Denver Broncos. So go Broncos. Now, our hockey team, the Avs, if they could just win the Stanley Cup for us, then it would be perfect. But I'm not sure that's going to happen, but anything can happen, right? Yes. Okay, I'm done now for sure. Okay, bye.